It seemed to Louise Kavanagh as though the fearsome midsummer heat had persisted for endless dreary weeks, rather than just the 4 Duke days since the last meagre shower of rain. Air from the devil's cookhouse, the old women of the county called this awful unbreathable stillness which blanketed the wolds. It complemented Louise's mood perfectly. She didn't feel much of anything these days. Destiny had apparently chosen her to spend her waking hours doing nothing but wait. Officially, she was waiting for her father, who was away leading the Stoke County militia to help quell the insurrection which the Democratic Land Union had mounted in Boston. The last time he'd phoned was 3 days ago, a quick, grim call, saying the situation was worse than the Lord Lieutenant had led them to believe. That had made Louise's mother worry frantically, which meant Louise and Genevieve had to creep around Cricklade Manor like mice, so as not to worsen her temper. And there had been no word since, not of father or any of the militia troops. The whole county was crackling with rumours, of course, of terrible battles and beastly acts of savagery by the Union irregulars. Louise tried hard to close her ears to them, convinced it was just wicked propaganda put about by Union sympathizers. Nobody really knew anything. Boston could have been on another planet as far as Stoke County was concerned. Even bland accounts of disturbances, reported on the nightly news programs, had ceased after the county militias encircled the city, censored by the government. All they could do was wait helplessly for the militias to triumph, as they surely would. Louise and Genevieve had spent yet another morning milling aimlessly around the manor. It was a tricky task. Sitting about doing nothing was so incredibly boring. Yet if they drew attention to themselves, they would be given some menial domestic job to do. With the young men away, the maids and older men-servants were struggling with the normal day-to-day running of the rambling building, and the estate farms outside, with their skeleton workforce, were falling dismayingly far behind in their preparations for the summer's second cereal crop. By lunchtime, the ennui had started to get to Louise, so she had suggested that she and her sister go riding. They had to saddle the horses themselves, but it was worth it, just to be away from the manor for a few hours. Louise's horse picked its way gingerly over the ground. Duke's hot rays had flayed open the soil, producing a wrinkled network of cracks. The aboriginal plants which had all flowered in unison at midsummer were long dead now. Where, 10 days ago, the grassland had been dusted with graceful white and pink stars, small shriveled petals now skipped about like minute autumn leaves. In some hollows they had drifted in loose dunes, up to a foot deep. "Why do you suppose the Union hates us so?" Genevieve asked querulously. "Just because Daddy's got a temper doesn't mean he's a bad man." Louise produced a sympathetic smile for her younger sister. Everyone said how alike they were. Twins, born 4 years apart. And indeed it was a bit like looking into a mirror at times. The same features, rich dark hair, delicate nose and almost oriental eyes. But Genevieve was smaller and slightly chubbier, and right now brokenly glum.